the entire series the hardest class for me to teach. Reason being, the majority of the people in here, I didn't say everybody, but the majority of the people in here already believe that they have forgiven everything and everybody that hurt them. The majority of people in here don't believe they have any grudge against anybody, and they don't have anything going on in their spirit towards anybody, because, you know, when you think about the person and what they did, you don't get mad anymore. But let me help you, because it is very possible for you to hurt me and I show no signs that I have anything against you. You know why? Because I just take out what you did to me on somebody else.
Amen.
Teach it.
Amen.
Teach.
Yes. Somebody said teach it.
Yes.
Because, see, come on. How many times has somebody offended you at the job or at the grocery store, and you didn't cuss them out, and you didn't fuss at them, you didn't even snarl and roll back like a lion? You waited till you got home. And you took everything out on somebody else besides. In fact, when the person hurt you, you smiled and said, it's all right, you know, you're just doing what you're supposed to do.
Amen.
But man, when you got home, you let the innocent bystander become collateral damage. And you don't believe you got an issue with nobody, because you said you forgave them. I'm interested in the text, though. Not so much the text yet, but the subject, because the word who is in there with parentheses around it. It says who, because who can mean many or it can mean few. Whatever the case it is, and whatever who means to you, we can all admit that we've all been hurt in the past.
Amen.
And some of us are being hurt right now. And I can guarantee you that you will be hurt in the future. So it's in our best interest to learn now how to forgive people correctly, because people are going to hurt you. You may as well get that in your mind. We act as though we're getting a surprise Christmas gift or something when somebody acts a fool within your circle. But people are going to hurt you, because anytime the enemy wants to mess up a person, then he'll send a person to do it. And even though the enemy sends the person, God is requiring you to forgive the person for it. But forgiveness is not just a word or a statement that we make. Forgiveness is an action that is much easier said than done. See, this ain't going to go over easy, man, because I told you, man, once you've been living your life believing that you don't have any problems with anybody because you forgive them quick in your mind and you keep on going with life, a lot of people can't receive this. Your heart is not sensitive or soft to a message like this, because you really think you're pretty good deep down on the inside. But I'm telling you, when you take out what somebody else did to you on other people, you may not be showing signs to the person that hurt you, but it's coming from that experience. So forgiveness, it's not an easy thing to do. It's much easier said than done, because whoever has hurt you, they've moved on with their life and they've left you to deal with the aftershock. And if you know anything about an earthquake, the aftershock can be more devastating than the earthquake itself. And it's the same thing when you've been hurt. The aftershock can be more devastating than that one little event. It just depends on how many times you replay it in your mind. Now, here we are in the present, acting out in strange ways that we cannot explain, all because of a decision somebody else made in the past. You know, they did have to choose to do what they did before they did it. They made a conscious decision to do what they did. So as a result, it's become a lot easier for us to say we've forgiven somebody with our mouth rather than truly forgive them from our heart. By the way, how do you really know that you don't still have a secret little art against somebody that has hurt you? I mean, you ain't like you live in the same city with them, and you may not even live in the same state with them. They might not even go to your church. So it's not like when you go out of your house to check the mail, or you cut the grass, or you're washing your car, or you're just going for a walk around the block that you get to run into these people. How do you know for sure that what used to be an issue is still no longer an issue now? You know, you don't have to see certain people that you've come across in your life. You don't get to see them all the time. And for some of us that have good access to people, you're still not going to come around them a lot unless you accidentally run into them while you're out and about. Who can't throw up their hand and wave and smile from a distance? It only takes but about 3 seconds for you to put up a good front until they get out of your space, and then you go back to... Who can't when you're down the street about half a mile away and I'm driving 50 and you doing 60 and we wave or blow the horn? Who can't do that? Amen. Amen. I'm just suggesting that maybe there's still something there that you don't know is there because you're not showing the symptom. So many people die from cancer, HIV, AIDS, all because they didn't get it checked because they didn't show any symptoms. I know you're too good at two shoes, but just maybe, when was the last time you've been checked out from the crown of your head to the sole of your feet? When was the last time you had a spiritual CAT scan? Well, see, that's not often, because we'll find scriptures that say we're the head, not the tail, and we're blessed in the city, and we're blessed in the field, and we got Abraham's blessing on our life. And I'm sorry, those are great scriptures, but those just don't do what you need to be done to find out where you are when you're not showing any kind of symptoms. Get that scripture too, but just don't forget that there's also a mandate on you as a Christian to make sure that you cleanse yourself from all filthiness of the flesh outside and the spirit inside. Don't leave that verse out, because some of us, we've discussed it, you're walking around spiritually infected and you don't even know it, because you're coming looking like the people, and you're clapping and shouting and singing like the people, giving offerings like the people, and you're claiming churches like the people, but you don't have a source where those things can flow out of you in a healthy manner. Oh, you got to hear me. I'll watch just how hard it is for some of you to even let the Spirit of God touch you. And I'm going to explain to you why. When you got unforgiveness in your heart, God says, I can't touch you. And I'm going to give you some scripture about that in a minute. See, you come to church and you really don't know how to respond. I'm not judging nobody, but all of us have been in a place where you come to church and you really don't know how to be touched by the Spirit of God, because the Spirit of God hadn't touched you in a long time. Not that He don't want to touch you, but He can't touch you, because if He touches you outside of you lining up with His word and forgiving people, then He's violated His own word. And God then makes Himself a liar. And God is anything but a liar. He's the truth. Ain't no lie in Him. So as bad as He wants to get all up in your space and move upon your life and deliver you from some things that have you stagnated, He can't do it because you won't take the first step, and that is forgive people. What am I trying to say? You really don't know how far you've progressed in your forgiveness until you got to get around people that hurt you and engage them and do business with them and talk to them and say, I might need your help, without worrying about how they're going to respond, or if they're going to think less of you, or if they're going to hurt you again. You really don't know where you stand as it relates to forgiveness until you have to get back in their space.